Hi there, and welcome to the Grief and Rebirth podcast. I'm your host, author and trauma survivor Irene Weinberg, here to encourage you wherever you are in your healing journey. In each episode, I chat with incredible grief and trauma specialists, healers, mediums, and celebs, as well as remarkable people who have inspiring healing stories to share. If you're looking for a podcast that's both uplifting and inspiring, you've found it. Let us help you find your joy in life.
Hi, everyone. I hope this finds each of you so very well. I'm speaking to you from my studio in West Orange, New Jersey, and I could not be more delighted and grateful to have the pleasure of once again interviewing world-renowned intuitive healer Debra Martin, who is an international research lab certified medium, a spiritual coach, a survivor of cancer, the author of 6 books, and a motivational speaker who has been on many radio networks, such as Coast to Coast with George Noory and Hay House Radio, and she will soon be featured on 2 Gaia special shows. Debra has survived 3 near-death experiences, and during her 3rd NDE, she had an out-of-body experience and a conversation with God. Debra's mediumship abilities were heightened, and she was given the gift of healing. And the many people from around the world who have joined her global distant group healing sessions have experienced profound healing thanks to Debra's remarkable healing gifts. Today, we will be discussing Debra's inspiring, heart-opening, and I must say, I've read it and it is a truly heart-opening new book titled Doctors, Faith, and Courage, about her journey through cancer, the important lessons she learned, the tools she was given by Spirit, how cancer made her an even better healer, and much more for what is surely going to be an unforgettable and touching interview with a beautiful person, and I know for a fact from the inside out. Hey, Debra, a loving welcome back to Grief and Rebirth podcast. It's so great to have you back again.
I'm so honored. And as you're talking, I'm getting these chills constantly, these little goosebumps like, oh my gosh, that was so nice of you. What a beautiful introduction. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's truly my pleasure. You know, I like to let people know who they're listening to. You know, it's not like I just picked you up off the street. You know, I mean, with all your bona fides, you know. So let's start, because your book is wonderful and it's amazing how you move through this situation, how a healer moved through the need for healing in a situation in her life. It's really an incredible story. So you received a vision before you even found out that you had cancer. So tell us how you learned that you had cancer, and also describe the type of cancer you had. You had quite a, and what length of time, what space of time did all this happen?
Okay, so I had been dealing with a hemorrhoid, and I had gone in to see the doctor, and she's like, oh, we're just going to leave that alone. So we left it alone, but I still was having a lot of irritation. So like 4 months later, I woke up to a voice really loud and said, you need to get this removed now. It was so loud and so clear and so stern that I knew in my heart that this was truth. Now we might in our mind go, oh, push that aside. But when it's that strong, you don't push that aside. It shakes you to your core. So I went back to see that doctor. And when I went back and saw the doctor, she said, what are you here for? I said, I'm here for this hemorrhoid. And she said, I told you we're not going to do anything about this. And I said, I'm here because I'm requesting that you take this out. And she looked at it, and she comes to the front of the table, because you're bent over, and she looks at me like this, and she says, I'm telling you, this is going to be painful either way. We should not take this out. So now I've got spirit, God telling me what I need to do. And I need to now be the advocate for my own body, because we know our bodies more than our doctors. Okay. So I looked at her straight in the eyes and I said, I intuitively know that this needs to come out, and it needs to come out today.
You're also also struggling with, in a way, the medical establishment, because they don't really understand psychic messages or any of that. Everything is very scientific, right?
Oh yeah, she kind of looked at me like I was crazy.
You're crazy, yep.
Yeah. And so she was not very kind. I mean, she's like, okay, get the scissors, like, and I'm thinking, oh God, she was being like, making it kind of a scary situation. And so she took it out and I said, can I see it? I really wanted to see it. And it just looked like a lima bean that was kind of dead. Right. And she goes, I wonder if we should send this in for biopsy. And I go, I think we should. And she's like, yeah, we should. So one afternoon, I was sitting on the couch talking to my daughter on FaceTime, and my other daughter was sitting next to me. And we had so much joy. We were laughing and just filled with love. And I hated to end the conversation, but I had to go to a hair appointment. So I'm like, okay, you guys just continue to have fun. And I proceeded to get into my car, and I was driving and my phone rang, and I saw it was my doctor. And I answered the call, and she says, Deborah, I've been trying to call you several times during the day. Well, I had done a healing in the morning, so my phone was off. So she says, where are you? I said, I'm driving. She's like, can you go home? I said, no, I can't go home, but I can pull over. So I pulled over. And at that moment, I felt like, oh, this might not be good news. You're just hearing that. And she goes, Deborah, I'm so sorry. Your biopsy came back cancerous. So you have cancer. So now I'm hearing the word, you have cancer. And anybody that's heard that, it's like everything stops. And what it was anal cancer.
And that's even scarier.
Mm-hmm.
That's even scarier.
So,
right?
And what was, and I'm going to go back a little bit, because I had this lump in my lymph node here, and I had her address. I like, should I be worried about this? She goes, no. And I said, well, I'm going to go see my OBGYN this next week. She's, that's good. So she didn't even, that's number one for a rectal doctor, to push on this and know if that's what's going on. So
did you switch doctors? Did you end up switching doctors?
Yeah, I had to switch doctors, because that's another thing you need to trust. Like, if you don't have the trust in the people that are working for you, then you can't walk hand in hand with them. And so I hope she received her lesson, right? But it was not my duty to continue to walk with her. And so
it felt like you were struggling with her ego. She told you in her mind.
I will say, in the car, she was, oh my gosh, and I wasn't going to send that for biopsy. Oh my gosh, Deborah, I wasn't going to take that out. She was talking out loud. So I could feel that she had all this guilt, right? But when I met her in the office, things changed. Now she was being very, following all the protocols, and you're going to go see your radiation doctor. You're going to go see your chemo doctor. And I'm like, what? Like, was so much to handle. But I did go home for a brief minute. And when I walked into my room with my daughters, they were like, did you get in a car accident? What's wrong? I couldn't voice it. I couldn't voice the word cancer. I couldn't say it. And that was a big lesson for me, because I did say it to my daughters. But if you can't voice something because it's really hard, then find a loved one that can voice it to others for you. And then find the ones that you want to share it with. For me, personally, I only wanted a few people to know. I didn't want everyone to know. And some people got upset with that, because they wanted to help you. They wanted to know. But I felt like I didn't want the energy out there. Did you hear Debra Martin has cancer? I didn't want that out there. I wanted to stay at a higher vibration and have God guide me through this, and not worry about what everyone else was saying.
I could not resonate more with what you just said. Really, I think, and you and I will talk about this later, but like, it's really important to choose the people on your wagon train, or people, in your army of people who are helping you, and not open it up to the whole world, because some people's energies are not, their vibrations are not high enough to lift you through.
And I've seen other people that have cancer that put it out there. They put it on their Facebook, and I think that's what they need, is to hear that feedback. So I'm not saying what I did is right for everyone,
Right.
but I'm just saying that this is why I chose to.
Yeah, that sounds smart. So now you change doctors, right? And now you also have the new challenge, because how does a healer with cancer reconcile going to doctors for treatments? I mean, like, you heal people all the time. Why not just close your eyes, say a prayer, and poof? So how did you reconcile that?
That was really challenging. I did go see my radiation doctor and my chemo doctor, but before I did a lot of meditations and prayers. And one of the things I said to God was, what am I supposed to do? First of all, I heal cancer through other people. So should I heal through myself? What do I need these doctors? And how do I share as a healer that I got cancer? To, should I just hold this? Should I not share this? And through the journey, I did get those answers. But the one answer was, Debra, you use every tool in your toolbox. And that was huge for me. Like, think about it. God heals in so many ways. We have medicine that God has created. Why not use it? We have doctors. You get into the right team of doctors where you feel they're the right ones for you, then you've built that team for you, and you have built that trust. And I prayed that God would open the doors to the right doctors. And so watching how it was all unfolding and seeing, you're right. They went to school, they studied, and this is all here for me, not against me. This treatment's not against me. It's for me. And so what happened when I went and saw my doctors, this is hilarious, because God works in a humorous way, but also lets you understand. I walk in to meet my radiation doctor, I shake his hand, and I'm like, okay, I need to know if this is the right doctor. So this doctor has so much compassion, but his first name is Stephen, which is my son's name. Go to my oncologist, meet her, beautiful, loving, caring. I need a loving, caring person. I don't need someone very strict and this is how it is. I need someone to kind of hold my hand so I can be vulnerable with them as well. And so her name was my daughter's name.
Oh, wow.
And so I was like, okay, we're one family.
Yes.
And I really felt it. And from that point on, we did become a family.
You became very comfortable with it. They had this, you praised God and asked if you could continue to do healings while you were going through treatments. What was that like? Because here you are struggling. I mean, you're getting radiation, you're getting medicine, you're getting all these things are happening within your body, but also people are coming to you for healing all these, and some of the same situations that you have. So how did you reconcile that?
So I sat down with my doctors, first of all, and I said, okay, so this is a 6-week treatment of every day. How's week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 going to look? And so they kind of gave me an outline, like where it was going to get difficult, where it's going to be like probably intolerable, right? You got to remember you're getting radiation in a very sore area. And so
and the level of the functioning of that area. I mean, that whole thing.
Right.
Oh my.
So, and then how I also knew that this was the right doctor is because when he wasn't there once, there was his partner, right? And I was having a really hard time, and I was coming onto one of those weeks that was going to be very fearful. And he started putting fear into me. Oh, it's going to be so painful, and oh, it's going to be red. And you know what God told me to do? He said, you don't know that. He doesn't know that. So I asked God to do his work, and I didn't have that pain that those doctors said. I didn't have to have that cream like that those doctors said. Yes, it was bad. Yes, it was not easy, but it could have been so much worse. So the question was, how did I
As you
rephrase it?
continue to do healings
Oh
for
yeah,
other
how did I
people while
continue
you're
to do
going
healings?
through all this.
So
So people
yes,
are coming to you and you're like going through with your sore tushy and the whole
right.
thing.
So I did like 1, maybe 2 healings a week, so I cut them down. And I knew through the first one I was gonna do, God was gonna show me what it was like. I can tell you that when I was in that session, because when you're going through something like this with cancer, my spirituality seemed to be so heightened. I seemed to be so opened. I seemed to be like almost like no care in the world, because at this point it's like I don't know what my reality is. I don't know what my future is. So I'm just going to live in the now. I'm just going to live in each moment. And it freed me. So I was so open and so heightened. I was just like floating out of my body speaking and never even feeling my body at all during the session. So it was like almost a gift to me. As I was healing, God was healing me.
That's how I wanted to ask you, because you're letting in all these healing vibes for someone else that had to be affecting you also.
And yeah, and I wasn't
And
feeling any of that.
right.
It was like I was kind of like removed from it.
That's amazing. Did that help you? Because you had to be very frightened at the same time with all that you were going through, yet you turned it into faith. The name of your book is Doctor's Faith and Courage. How did you turn your fear into faith? Because most people, no matter what's going on, are scared, so scared. So
So
what did you do?
at one point, you start asking all the what ifs. What if I'm never going to see my grandchildren again? What if I'm never going to be able to go on vacation again? What if I'm never going to be able to see a sunrise again? What if I'm going to this is going to be my last breath? What ifs? And then what ifs are always the negatives, right? Because you're thinking all the what ifs. And I had to sit there and say, how is this serving me? How's this serving me? And so I decided to like say, okay, God, here's all my what ifs. I can't hold them, but if I give them to you, I know that you can be the driver in this vehicle. You're the driver. And so I trust you that no matter what, all will be well. I will, if I stay here, I'm going to be well. If I transition, I'm going to be well. And so, and don't even think of the rest. Just think about how I'm going to walk through this. And I decided to walk through it with grace, with gratitude as my foundation, seeing joy every day, making goals, just like we should make goals every day now. And just saying, you know what? I trust that this has to be a plan of God's. And I don't know the why yet. What is this giving me? Now, I did learn something from God along the way as I was healing. As I was starting to heal, we always say, fight that cancer. I'm going to fight it. We're going to get this. And that's okay. That's a term we all want to say. Let's fight this. But I chose not to fight the cancer. I chose to send love to the cancer. So if you think about it, when you are talking to God, God wants to embrace you. He wants to embrace you with his love. That's healing. When you have a sick child or someone sick, you go hug them, you embrace them, you don't yell at them. Don't yell at your body. You're frustrated, right? You feel frustrated because now you have limitations, things that you couldn't do before. But at this moment, those frustrations and those limitations, if you're frustrated, you're resisting all that's there for you. So instead, I started to talk to my cancer. What are you here for? What do you want me to learn from you? I send love to you. You know what? Body, you are so magnificent. I have legs that you have supported me for so long. I have a beautiful heart, and just started to send my body love. And that really, really helped the healing process for myself.
That's beautiful. That reminds me, like, if when we accept the fact that our body is our vehicle in this lifetime for our soul. So you're sending love to your vehicle. Eventually, we all have our vehicles eventually all get tired, and our soul, we've learned our lessons and we return to the other side. But to love that, as we were saying a little before the interview started, when they pulled me out of the car and I got to be loving and kind to everyone, I took that as meaning me too.
Right.
And
that's what it is. And
right?
people need to give themselves permission to honor themselves, to honor their bodies, to honor all the emotions. If you're having a shitty day, have a shitty day. But at the end of the day, embrace yourself, or embrace yourself through that shitty day. It's okay. These emotions are real. I'm not saying that it was all beautiful. I had hard times where it's like, I'd walk in the doctor and it's like, I'm not doing well. I could voice it. It was very important to always voice your truth. Don't hold it in. I don't want you to visit me. And so I knew that I was hurting that person because they wanted to see me. But for me, I didn't want them to visit me. So I had to always voice my truth, even if I was going to disappoint another, even telling the doctor. And they're like, but Debra, you're doing so well. No, I'm not. I'm not. And then they would say, but if you saw another patient that was where you are today, I'm telling you, you're doing so well. And so he would be the one to raise my vibration. So it's very important to surround yourself with those people that will listen, hear you, and bring joy and not drama or sadness or negativity. Because
fantastic.
Yeah.
And the other thing you did that I read in the book was you changed the language around what you were going through.
That was really,
there was something you asked somebody, to a nurse or somebody, to refer to your cancer as curable. Not tell us about that, because that's so important. You were accepting and mindsetting yourself.
Yes, I remember going in for my port, and that was a very, very hard day because it was like, it really made it real. It's the one thing I didn't want. Oh, I have to have this port. And they come in and, they're documenting everything. And so she's like, you have anal cancer. And I said, can you change the language? She goes, what do you mean? And I said, could you say you have curable cancer? And she goes, oh my gosh, I love that. And I said, I think you need to tell your patients that, you have curable cancer. We're going to make this through. And it's important to your brain to feel it, you to voice it. Because if I sit here and go, oh, this cancer is not curable. This cancer is not curable. What's my body saying?
You're giving your body the message. We're on the way out.
Yep. And so stay as positive as you can. Change that language from negative to positive with any thought that you have.
And the other thing is, I want to ask you about all the tools in your toolbox. So you had your doctors, you had your energy work. What were some of the other tools? You had your wagon train, you had your army. What are there any other tools to share with everyone that you mustered up to help you through this?
First of all, like I said, surround your people with the right people. I have an army around me, and I was given that name when I was under treatment for radiation. That was my God time. I was like, okay, God, it was scary going underneath the machine. You know what it's doing to you. But instead I said, this is going to be my God time. You made this machine for me. So I'm going to embrace this machine. And during that time, it was like the second time I heard God say, build the army around you. And I am your army. Your loved ones on the other side are your army. Your family, friends, those are your army. So the number 4, when I say army for love, I believe that spirit is always ahead of you, walking ahead. God knows what's ahead of you, so you don't have to fear it. They're always holding you up as you walk, and they'll never let you fall backwards. So it's important to just know you're never alone. That's a tool. Use the doctors that you trust. Don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to say, I need a different doctor. Oh, I'll just stick with this one. Don't be afraid to go to the doctor because you think something's wrong and you don't want to know what it is. Don't wait. I didn't wait. I listened. Make goals for yourself. I made a calendar for myself for those 6 weeks, and I just would mark it off. And I'm like, okay, week 1, we're done. And I was seeing the progress. But at every end of the week, I would clap for myself. You did it. You did it. So praise yourself and give yourself that pat on the back. Treat yourself with honor and respect.
Wow, those are amazing lessons and tools that you learned from this. Wow. Do you have any other advice for others who are struggling with a serious illness?
Yeah, I think we shouldn't give power to the illness. Like so many people say, well, I have Parkinson's. It's not curable. I said,
Yeah, tell
let's
us how
not,
you phrase that. Yeah, that's great. That's a great example.
yeah. So now, because we know what it is, we all go, we all do that because we know what that
Holy
means.
moly.
But what did that just do? That now gave Parkinson's the power and took my power away. So I never want to give a title. Don't own the title. The doctors may diagnose me with this, but I'm not going to own it. So I'm going to keep my power over it. So you could talk to it. You could ask what it's here to teach you. You could say, I'm going to walk with you, walk with me through grace. But also, you know what? Yeah, maybe I have it, but maybe we can suppress it so it doesn't come out. Right? So it doesn't like I really believe that mine wasn't as bad as a lot of cancers when it comes to the anal part of the bleeding and the pain. Um, I was able to sit the entire time. A lot of people couldn't sit. Like I
Wow.
didn't have to get a donut. I actually bought all these things that I was told to do. I never had to use those. And I really believe that it was because of how I addressed things and how I voiced it. And so I felt in my heart and my mind, I'm not going to need to use that. Even though I had that, I'd look at it like, I'm not going to use that. And I never did. And I never needed it. And it's the power of the mind. Our minds are so powerful. So don't give the power to the illness.
So, what would be your advice for someone who, God forbid, gets a Parkinson's? How should they phrase it? They're calling their friend and are they saying, I have Parkinson's? Or is there something else that they're
You,
saying with that to send a more positive message to not only their support system, but to their body?
I probably would voice it in this way. I'd probably say, I was diagnosed with Parkinson's, but I'm not going to, I'm going to walk through this and I'm going to have my power over Parkinson's. So I'm going to be stronger. And I don't know the process that this is going to take, but I trust that if I use everything that I have, everything's going to be okay. And I think if you address that, then everybody's like, okay, I'm on this same vibration with you. He was diagnosed, but everything's going to be okay. See the
Right,
difference? It's
right.
not like, oh, she has cancer. Oh, how's she going to do it? They get off the phone. How's she going to do it? You already told them how you're going to do it.
That's really great advice, Deborah.
Thank you.
And I really want to also know, which is so cool, that during your final PET scan, you felt your right arm and your left arm with both touched. Tell us about that. And who were those spirits? And we all don't have your gift to know who the spirits were, but this is such a beautiful story because even if you don't have the gift, it just points to how our loved ones are around us.
So PET scans can be scary. A lot of people have anxiety going to a PET scan, even open PET scans. They just have that fear of even taking Ambien. They just can't do it for some reason. So first of all, I asked the doctor, the tech, to put the white blanket on me. I always had a white blanket no matter what treatment I was having. I felt that was God's light and love holding me in that blanket. And when I put my arms up like this, he put them up over my arms too. So I had 2 blankets that day. So when I went into the PET scan, there's that unknown. Okay, did everything heal? Did God heal me? Did the treatments heal me? We're going to find out the results. So what do I want to go into with the attitude? The first attitude was, this is God's proof. We're going in. So that's what's like, let's go, God. So I remember the room being really dark. and they closed the lights. And I remember closing my eyes and I felt the room got bright, like he turned on the light. So I opened my eyes to see, did he come back in the room? No, that was God's light in the room. And so I was like, wow, what is happening here? So I just kept saying, thank you, 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 through the whole thing. And as my hands are up like this, I felt somebody touch here and touch here, like kind of up in this area. And I was like, okay, who are you? And I immediately started to cry as my father stands on my right. And that's where our fathers do stand on our right and our mothers stand on our left. And they said, we've always been here for you. We've walked through the journey with you. You did it.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
just bawled and cried
Oh
and
my
cried.
gosh. Did they give you a tissue in the middle of that?
No, because then I don't know what I'm going through. So then all of a sudden I'm like, "Ooh," and I'm feeling like this is the best gift ever, which, you don't know what you're going through, but now I'm feeling this is the best gift ever. And they're almost validating, like, spirit has been with me the entire time. And so think of this as I'm coming out. He's like, okay, Deborah, you're done. And my hands are up like this and coming through the machine. And I decide, oh my God, this is like, hooray. So I'm going, victory, victory in my mind as I'm coming through, going, we're done. And yeah, that's
and you hadn't even gotten the validation yet. And then he told you what you already knew. And in a way, your parents coming through that where they were letting you know you're okay.
I think they were, but they still have that, like, until you have the call. And the day of the call, I missed the call. I had to go to the bathroom. I come back and I'm like, I have my phone. I'm like, oh no, the doctor called.
Oh my
Oh
God.
no, he left me a message. Oh no, I'm by myself. I have to listen to this. So I remember taking a deep breath, almost holding your breath the whole time you're listening to it, right? And then hearing like, Deborah, everything came back clear. You're cancer free. And I was like, I literally was dancing and jumping in my house.
Yeah, oh, that's so wonderful. And you know what else I loved? In the beginning of this whole journey for you, you called cancer the beast. And
Yes.
now you found beauty in your beast. How was cancer an opportunity disguised for you?
Okay, so in the beginning, it was my beast because it was like, why are you here? And you're destroying my body, right? You're a beast. And in the end, I learned so much from the cancer, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, that he became my beauty in the beast, and I was able to say goodbye to it. So I learned lessons. One of the lessons that go way back to the very beginning, the first question you asked me is, why was cancer here as a healer? Why was I getting cancer? And I didn't understand that. That was one of my biggest questions. I didn't understand it. I heal people. I have a lot of compassion. Oh, no, 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 no. I didn't know what compassion was for somebody with cancer until I walked the walk. Now, when I'm helping anyone with cancer, they're like, Deborah, you understand. You have the awareness. I was given the gift of awareness to help and understand and be in the same room and hold their hands rather than seeing it through the window and trying to explain and try to guide someone. Now it's like I speak their same language. And so that was a true gift because it's really heightened my healing abilities when helping people through illness like cancer.
I just love how you just put that. Instead of looking through the window, it brought you into the room so you understood it perfectly and enhanced your healing abilities actually, and your compassion and your empathy. And people can really turn to you knowing that you it's like what you said about a doctor, knowing that you truly understand.
I truly understand. I know their pain. I know their fears. I know, and not all of them. We all have our own intensity of it, but I can use the tools I learned to embrace them. And then when I'm healing them, it's almost like you feel it, like I had it before. Like it just goes like, oh, you want it even more for that person because you know what they're struggling for and with.
It's wonderful. And this is something you did that I personally was so touched by this because you know, you really live a life of gratitude. And with what you went through, you went to gratitude for all the people, all of them who were really special on you in your army. And you gave each one a special gift, and you called it because they helped you keep your light shining when everything looks so grim. And it's generous, it's filled with gratitude. I'm sure not one of them expected anything from you. You acknowledged every one of them. What was that special gift that you get? I thought this was so beautiful. I wanted to share it with our audience.
I put it in a little bag. I can remember going to my radiation doctor, and I had asked them, I want to write a book because I was told to write a book. Is this okay? He's like, yes. And then I said, I wouldn't have been able to get through this without you. You were part of my light. And so he opened the gift, and it was a little flashlight. And so anytime you're in the dark and you turn on that flashlight, know that light is always there for you. And it was just a little reminder that he is that light, no matter how big, how little, he made a difference. And so everybody and they were powerful little ones. But it just was to show the gratitude that their light helped me. And now that I want them to remember never to forget the light that you have within you.
That's
Because
beautiful.
it really does make a difference when you shine it on another person.
Would you say that that's how your journey with cancer brought you a great appreciation, that it had to do with shining the light within you? Because I know
Yes.
you gathered a greater appreciation for your body being human and for life.
Yeah, and I noticed, like, when you are going through cancer, or when you're going through depression, or when you're going through anxiety, or when you're going through anything emotionally, physically, or spiritually, your light starts to get dim. And we need to raise that light, turn the volume up, bring that up. And how do you bring that up? How do you raise that vibration? And the way I raise my vibration is joy. So how do you find joy? The question is, where do you find joy? Well, each of us know what brings us joy within. So ask yourself that question: what brings me joy? Then do it. Is it watching the birds? Is it turning on the music? Is it talking to a friend? It doesn't have to be something big. I remember when I couldn't do laundry, the first time I got to do laundry, it brought me joy. I'm like, oh my gosh, I get to do laundry. And I remember I couldn't walk in a grocery store. I couldn't do grocery shopping. And I'm like, I'll never say I don't like grocery shopping anymore. And the first time I got to go to 2 stores, I was so proud of myself. Oh my gosh, you drove it to first and you still have energy to go to the second one. And I was like, that brought me so much joy. I can tell I have to remind myself that at times, because at times, like, oh, I gotta go to the grocery store. Remember, Deborah, when you couldn't go to the grocery store.
Right. To be grateful that you can see, that you can walk in, that there's food to choose from. But all of that, I think what it does, as conscious as you were, you're even more conscious now.
Yeah, it's
Everything. I think that this is just my take on it. It enhances your appreciation, your acceptance, your gratitude. You have a different lens that you're using to see things or to feel things.
I think what it did for me is you don't sweat the small stuff. Do you find that you do that? Like, things just don't matter anymore. And there could be drama going on, and I don't get caught up in that drama. And if somebody wants to talk about another person, it's like I turn in the other way. It's like that's not who I am. That's not what I want. And it's like you can see it more and go, oh no, 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 no. So my circle around me is very small. And, I like to keep it that way because it keeps the peace sometimes. And I just feel like it's important to recognize that, but this has really taught me to see it even more. Just don't sweat the small stuff. And we say that all the time, but people don't realize that they're really doing it all the time.
It has to do with choice, Deborah. I think you'd agree with this. Choose healing. Choose healing. Choose your attitude. Choose to be grateful. Don't choose the toxic negative parts. And when you choose the positive things, your body hears it. Your psyche hears it, right?
I really like that you brought this up because there's a couple things that have happened to me in the last month. One of it's like, okay, so when somebody's sick, they get depressed, and you have to have those feelings of getting depressed. But then that's your choice. Are you going to stay depressed? Or are you going to, what are you going to do for yourself to honor you and everyone else that's around you? The next thing is like, I see so many people that are angry. They can't be kind in the grocery store. And it'd be like, well, you don't know what I'm going through. Somebody has, in my family has cancer. Somebody just died. And I'm like, well, yeah, but you don't know what I'm going through. And I choose to still have kindness because it's what do you want to radiate, right? I really believe if I'm radiating that love, if I'm radiating that kindness, that's going to come to me. If I radiate negativity, then I'm going to surround myself with negativity. So make a choice of what works best for you, but I choose the light and the love and the kindness.
I am with you, soul sister, all the way. I like to tell people I've become allergic to drama. I just, I'm not interested. I know that what you came to happened to me in the car accident. I mean, Saul died next to me, and I am so, but I lived and I see so much, and I'm so grateful for every single thing that's come into my life. It's a choice.
It is a
It's
choice, and it's a choice how you see things. And I think that's where even my sister had said to me, like, you never complained, and you were just always like, it didn't look like cancer was hard. It didn't look like cancer was hard. And this is a real big lesson for people that because this kind of it comes from my heart. People will look at cancer and say, well, what kind of cancer did you have? Oh, that wasn't that bad. Right? Like it's not compared to this type of cancer or this, what I'm going through. Cancer is cancer. And it's still the C word. And they still have to go through it. They still have to mentally, physically, spiritually, no matter what it is, do not say to them that it was not that difficult. And I think that was really hard for me because people saw that I did walk through it with grace. I didn't complain. So it didn't look hard. Right. And so then
well,
they
you
go,
kept it for your little army, including the other side as you moved through it, right?
right. Well, I voiced it to God. Yeah. But I didn't always voice it to my family or, because I wanted to stay in the joy. Let's play a game while we're here. Let's watch a movie together. Let's watch something joyful. So they have expressed, well, your cancer wasn't that bad.
Mm.
And so I think back, should have I been angry? Should have I walked through with fear? Should have I, and I still go back to no, because it wouldn't have served me. But that's the lesson I want to tell everybody else is don't compare or don't put somebody else's down because you don't really know what they're going through. Even if they're shining bright, cancer is one thing you don't see. It's not like a broken leg or, somebody that has a hip replacement or you see it on them, scars, bruises. So you don't see, so you're not seeing what they're really feeling. You're not seeing what they're really going through. So just always embrace them with kindness because you really don't know. Right. And it's not up to them to tell you. All it is up to you is to embrace and come with kindness and love.
And you know what? It's another lesson that you're teaching with this interview too, because it's important for people not to make assumptions about other people or to make assumptions about how people see them or what's going on. We don't know. We absolutely don't know. So it's a choice to just be loving and kind to people. And if they're toxic, you can detach, but you don't have to get caught up in it.
I love that you said that because that's the other part of me that I do not like and I do not accept is judgment. Because people judge so quickly that they don't know what that person has gone through to make them angry, to make them where they are, what kind of life they had, but they're so quick to judge. By if somebody makes the wrong action or says the wrong words, I've taught my children, especially my younger daughter, like when you see somebody acting out, don't look at them like, oh my God, they're crazy. Look at them and say, wow, wonder what what are they going through? Because what they're going through is showing you, that's coming out of them. It's showing you like they're going through a difficult process. So just be kind. Don't judge, because you really don't know.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Which segues right into this quote from your book that I want to read to everyone, because it's just such a wise quote. And it's right from Doctor's Faith and Courage. You will know when and if it's your time. At that time, embrace the love that surrounds you and know you are going to a place that is all about love. Cultivate a life of gratitude. So during those difficult times, that is what is going to be with you. Never lose hope. Live life to the fullest.
Mm-hmm.
Debra, I want to thank you from my heart for another profoundly meaningful interview. And I have no doubt that it is going to touch and inspire many hearts in our Grief and Rebirth podcast audience. And here's a loving reminder, everyone, that you can see the show notes and all Grief and Rebirth podcast episodes on ireneweinberg.com. And make sure to follow us and like us on social at Irene S. Weinberg on Instagram, Facebook, and wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. As I like to say, to be continued. Thank you, Debra. Beautiful Debra. Many blessings.
Thank you. Like you allowed me to share and have a voice to something that's, dear to my heart and what God showed me to share to the world. And that's why I got cancer. So I can't thank you enough. And I love being on your show. I
Thank
think
you.
that you are like one of the best interviewers. You're someone that you come from compassion. You're someone that people relate to. You're so prepared. You ask me all the right questions, and we just are in sync. And it makes such a beautiful, beautiful interview. And I'm just in awe with the work that you do, and I'm so honored to be here. Thank you.
Well, I would say from my heart to yours and from yours to mine.
Same here.
With much love. Thank you. And everyone, many blessings. Bye for now and see you all soon.